Yeah, I was come to think of it, like thinking about it with this sea turtle there, the big one. He hit into the rudder a few times, and then he hit into the hull. He hit into the fucking outboard too. I was just thinking to myself, maybe he's trying to push me on course, try and push me towards Cape Verde, like to Sal. I was just like, bloody hell, maybe he said that, and he's probably thinking, bloody hell, you're slow this time, aren't you? It's like, normally you go past me and you take my fucking head off. It's like, now I'm passing you. But I've been, I just threw in a load of mango skins and I was eating them and that, and obviously the seeds, and, you know, he's behind somewhere like that, and he's somehow, because he was following me all the way, he's clearly wanting to come the same direction. He seems to have disappeared, so he's probably just sitting there eating all of those mango bits and stuff, and he's never eaten anything like that in his life, you know what I mean, and the seed and that. So he's had 2 of those, or whatever else I put in. I think probably it's about 3 or 4 actually. It's probably why he came in the first place. He probably was drawn here by the mangoes and shit like this that I've thrown overboard. But yeah, no, and the spring onions. Fucking hell, they were awful, those things. Just chuck a bunch out of rotten, smelly fucking things. Make the whole cockpit stink and that, really bad. You know, nothing's worse than this rotten onion smell. It's like loads of them together, all slimy and that. Yeah, I can see these seabirds around, and I've seen them for a while now, a few days since being out here, and it's a sign that we're getting close, obviously, and it made me smile when I first saw that. And that was a long time ago now, that. But it's these special birds that are from these islands, you know, and they're protected, so I recognise them. That's another reason why I was smiling. So yeah, they're from these little islands that you know, you have to get permission to go there, but some of them you actually can't go to because there's like 2 brothers or something looking after the birds there and stuff, if they still are doing it. I don't know if they are, because it was a long time ago now, but they probably still are, because they managed to get the Protection Act on them and stuff. But people do like to violate these things, because that's what it's about. Living's living. So yeah, but yeah, no, that turtle looked really tired actually, to be honest. That's why I was thinking, should I pick him up and put him on the deck and put put him on the trampoline and just he'd probably fall through the fucking thing. There's so many holes in it now. It's really dangerous. Just as you're travelling around on this with the motor going at the back, you know, you fall through the front and just get chopped up like spaghetti. It's like, it's such a risk. Every time we go up there, it's just like, is this a good idea or what? But guess what? I can't afford a trampoline. I can't afford new rigging, and the backstays, one broke and landed on Rome, and then the other one, I climbed up the mast and cut it off, because I was just thinking to myself, do I actually need them? But I think I need something as protection, like extra protection. So, but the thing is, with them on, it doesn't matter whether letting them slack, because it's like that type it was, you could make them slack. So the guy who bought the boat off, he left the boat in a shit state, obviously, everything, and that was one of the main things, he left slack. So every time the wind was blowing, it's spinning around and it's chafing at the top. This is what I think was happened. It's actually a thinner cable than the other shrouds too. So when it broke off, it just broke because it's just thinner, and it's been spinning around for how many fucking years, dead in a shit place, rotting, sinking. So until I came along, and then it fell off in Africa, going towards Africa, when we were close to Africa. But yeah, it was crazy though, because I was hanging on those at the back and collecting buckets of water and stuff. We had sharks behind us and all sorts of shit. Speaking of sharks, there's been loads on this trip here, but I just to tell you now, it's very difficult to fucking video them. You know, it really is. I've seen them jumping, I've seen them fucking darting in and grabbing shit quickly and stuff. I've seen them behind the boat pursuing, which is normal. I've seen it since the Med and everywhere really when they're chasing the boat. And yeah, dolphins were impressive. Like every single one of them were jumping. Like it looked like fucking, I don't know, 20 foot out of the sea, because they're so far away and they were huge. And I was like, these dolphins are massive, and they're just jumping out of the water like that. I was like, what the fuck? But this is the thing, when you got these, you know, you're going through this sort of stuff, and you can even see even more when you got your indulgence like this. We're just drifting and just spinning basically. It was a myth that we were going on track. The turtle might have helped, but cause the thing is, we just keep eventually just spinning around, and then we have to go around again and again. I've got the wheel locked with a bungee, but it doesn't do fuck all. We need wind, you know. I'm begging the sky to give me like at least as a minimum 20 knots wind, and we'll fly there. We'll get there so quickly, you know. Even if we were just traveling 8 knots, because that's not hard to go in this, not at all. I don't know about being overloaded, but I think you could still do it. Not a problem. But it's just like you just can't. if the sea state's a bit crazy, it's not a good idea because it bangs a lot. So you know it'll bang even more if you're doing that. So you always got to watch that depending on what you want to sail as. You know, right now I've got the sails set up to on the button, which basically means on the nose. So you know that's how I've been having to sail this fucking thing like this, and it works. But if there's wind, you know what I mean. You know, if there's wind. You know, and we've done this sort of shit in the Med when it was like this, and we were beating into these huge waves, getting air. You know, we were flying over the waves, like literally flying, and then landing, crashing into the ocean. That's what was going on. And yeah, it managed to do it. And the boat was fucking broken and fucked then. I've fixed it and done all this reinforcement and modifications and things like this, because I'm an engineer, obviously. That's what I do. I make things better, or try to anyway, with no money or fuck all stuff. I just do what I can with what I got. I just made that up. It sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah. When you've been at sea for a long time, the first sign is lots of madness. And that's what happens. Like, especially if you're solo, you just kind of lose it a lot. I lost it a long time ago, to be honest. But yeah, I've definitely lost it now. I don't seem to care. Not at all. I'm in that moment. I just don't give a fuck. And I'm just going with whatever I can, however I can. No means of rescue, no means of help. Completely over time, so people are probably thinking, he's out there for a lot longer than he should be. I'm sure they probably are thinking that about now, surely. I would be like yesterday, I'd be thinking, that's not really that normal for him. But, yeah. We'll see. Anyway, the swell's just coming and we're heading north now, which is where I want to be heading. According to the compass, that is. I know this might sound a bit confusing to some people, but I need to be going north. So, and I want to be going to Santa Maria and drop anchor there, if it's possible. Yeah, I'm smarter this time. I decided to leave just enough gasoline, possibly, I don't even know if it is, but just enough gasoline in the tank, just so I can park the boat in emergencies, or if I get into a pickle, I can get out of it, hopefully. That's what I've done, because I'm basically just trying to sail in there because I knew back in Africa that that's probably what would happen, because the fuel was just going so quick, and I was like, and we were getting smashed up in these waves and everything like this, and I had to keep refueling in that, and I lost a lot of fuel too, because that's the problem with this system I've got here. It's no good for what I want to do, especially to keep the boat under control. I'm glad I fixed that the tiller pilot for that, but it's completely broken now. It's fucked. I actually thought it'd break a long time ago, but it didn't. I just needed it for something like briefly, like what I can't remember now which day it was. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was, or 2 days ago. I just can't even remember now. But it just broke, and I went, fine, fuck yeah. I'm always on steering anyway. Fuck you. And then I just realised to myself, it's actually really fucking been useful, despite it's being crap, because it is. I think it's just shit. It could be, these things could be better, but it is really old. But you know, I'm just like, what the fuck? But yeah, it broke, and I'm like, fuck that. It's not going to do that. I'm going to try and fix it myself again in Sal if I can make it. I'm just not going to do it now because it's not something I want to do now. It's like, fuck about with something like that. It involves soldering, getting the tools out, messing around with shit. It's just, I'm exhausted anyway, my brain's like this, so it's just kind of like I don't want the winds to just come. But to be honest, how I look at it, if this storm comes, or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be, cyclone thing heading to the Caribbean, and by the looks of it, of what I've seen, if it's bollocks, then it's bollocks. Well, what will happen is, basically, this wind that you see now, it's like telling me, Aaron, something's coming. No, it's not. It'll just do this, and then when it gets to going dark, it'll just calm down, like evening, it'll just calm down because the thermals die. And even around the islands, loads of islands that have crazy winds, they die, and it's because the thermals go. So, you know, they drop. So it does the same thing at sea. So this has just reminded me of, like, the fucking Mediterranean. It always did this on the clock, and you're just like, fuck. So when you know you've got no wind in the day, this is how I'm looking at it. When you know you've got no wind in the day, you're not going to fucking get anything at night time. It's just going to go poof like this, unless you can see a squall or a fucking anything like this. Because, well, this is how I look at them. Most people are like terrified, but myself, they are shit. My boat's not protected against lightning either, and I've been through billions of them now, right? And I had to live through billions of them in rainy season, like for over a year and a half now, because I managed to escape. I was not wanting to make that 2 years. And yeah, I haven't been hit yet. I came up with a system for stationary, but when you're moving, it's a bit more difficult to do that, you know? And it involves drag too. So right at this moment, I don't really want drag. I want to get the fuck out of here and risk, if I get hit, I get hit. You know, I'll just deal with the consequences of fixing everything again. It's just fucking annoying, and expensive. And like I said, can't afford it. So you have to just acquire things and have the know-how to do this stuff. This is what I'm about. So with everything that I've done and do. So I just that's why I don't use a wallet to go around places. That's another reason why I wanted to get out of Africa, because they're always demanding this shit. They're horrible people, really, really vile, like just really fucking vile people. I don't know one person there that's good, and I knew the best person there, and I integrated myself really well, living in the bush and everything, you know. And I was in the middle of nowhere. I was with the crocodiles, the monkeys, everything you imagine, like monitor lizards, fucking going and on the shit, seeing mongooses and that, and blah 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 blah. I was living off of everything out of the river, out of the mangroves. That's where I was living, and I was on my own sandbank as well. All this shit, a very long time, moving around stuff and checking things out. And swimming with crocodiles all the time, with the dog as well, and with roommates. It's just always swimming with them. It's just they're fucking huge. It's just fucking stupid when you look back at all of that. It's like, what the fuck was I doing? Especially with the dog, you know, it just brings them in and then we all get eaten. It's like, fuck's sake. Have you seen crocodile survivors now? Fuck me. They don't even want to be surviving after that shit, you know. And I've seen them dead too. They're on YouTube. If anyone's interested, you can see that shit. Just have to YouTube it and you'll find it. But yet they demonetize people for swearing and shit like this. It's like retarded. I've been out of the loop for a long time, so I have no idea what's going on, and I actually don't really care because I'm quite happy just to do what I'm doing. So I haven't had a camera in Gambia, so I've done my best with what I could get at the time. But in general, I just absorbed it all because that's what I do. I don't give a fuck about. I have to video everything all the time to show people everything I'm doing. I'm just like, fuck that shit. I just video stuff that's, you know, like this, I guess, you know, and things like this. Maybe some cool, interesting things. That's about it. I'm not going crazy balls deep with this shit, you know. Don't give a fuck.